Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of Let's Go to the Record Store. So I found a new record store, at least for me. This one here will be my first time visiting it. It's called Record Runner, and they do sell both CDs and records in it, which is good news for me. I'm primarily a CD guy, but I do like my records as well. Located in the West Village at 5 Jones Street in Manhattan. Now, Jones Street has a really interesting history to it. It actually predates 1789 and was named after the Dr. Gardner Jones. Now, that's not actually what makes it interesting. In pop culture, it was the backdrop for Bob Dylan's 1963 album cover, The Free Will and Bob Dylan. And then it goes on to have more involvement with pop culture in terms of movies. So movies were shot there like The Butcher's Wife in 1991, which stars Jeff Daniels and Demi Moore. Bullets Over Broadway in 1994, which is a Woody Allen film. Addicted to Love in 1997, which stars Meg Ryan and Matthew Broderick. And The Irishman in 2019, which is a Martin Scorsese film. So a lot going on that street, and interesting, while I was even there, they brought one of those tourist groups around to talk about both the store, the street, and other things like that. So kind of a cool thing, and I'll show you that street when we get down to that area. But for now, join me and let's go to the record store and see what we can find today. Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. So we're outside Record Runner, this really interesting record shop. It's also got CDs, it's got other things. We happen to be on the same block where they actually shot Bob Dylan's Free Will and Bob Dylan album cover. So a little cool, little bit of tidbit trivia there for you guys. But let's head on inside and see what we can find. All right, so we're back. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That one was a pretty interesting one for me. As you can see, lots of vinyl in there, pretty decent amount worth of CDs. What really struck me was the amount of rarities and imports, things of that nature that were there. And beyond it just being CDs, vinyl, that sort of stuff, they had shirts, they had tour programs, they had, sort of PR releases, that kind of stuff. They had a little bit of everything, but if you're a music collector who likes more than just the vinyl and CD, there was memorabilia type things there too, and that was really cool. And if you saw some stuff that you liked, they do have a website, recordrunnerusa.com, from which you can order. The guy that runs the place was really helpful and mentioned a number of times that the total amount of product that he has is not out on the floor. So if you're looking for something specific, he always says to ask him. So I came back with a good amount of loot myself here in this bag, and I got 6 items, and it's time for us to go through it. So let me pull the stuff out. I'm gonna put the vinyl down. We're gonna go through that second, and we'll start with the CDs here. So first thing I picked up was this Bryan Adams live Japanese import version of it. It's been pretty hard to come by. It was out in the US, but I've had a hard time finding it since its original release, so I was willing to pay a little bit more to get this Japanese import version of it. But when it came out in 1988, it was his first live album, and really cool sound to it and quality to it, and definitely has the feel of a live album. Sometimes you can't distinguish between a studio album and a live album that simply has the sound, the screaming audience pumped into it. But this one here, definitely that feel, rawness of a live album, and cool. All right, the next one that I picked up here, Roxette Crash Boom Bang, the 1994 studio album. It was their 5th studio album. In the US, though, this version of the album never came out. It's a 15-track version. In the US, we only ever got Favorites from Crash Boom Bang. That was the title of it, and it was a 10-track version sold exclusively at McDonald's restaurants. So this one here being an import version, that's why it cost a bit more, but the guy was nice. He actually discounted it for me, and I didn't pay that full price tag that you saw on the back of it. So I really appreciate that. All right, then I picked up some cool vinyl releases. Here's one that I'd wanted to pick up back when it originally came out, but missed it. Def Leppard Rock and Roll Hall of Fame performance that they did on March 29th of 2019, which was one of the last times that they were doing these full performances with audiences and things, because it was just prior to COVID there. But this one here, a Record Store Day exclusive. It's got 5 tracks on it. It's got Hysteria, Rock of Ages, Photograph, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and then All the Young Dudes, which is really cool, which features Ian Hunter from Mott the Hoople. Of course, the guy that wrote the song, Brian May of Queen. You got Rod Argent on here on keyboards, and Colin Blunstone, Phil Manzanera, Stevie Van Zandt, Susanna Hoffs. So you got quite the list of people guesting on that, still sealed. So that one was a really cool find for me. This next one I was really excited to find too. Guadalcanal Diary, Walking in the Shadow of the Big Man, 1985 album. I've been wanting this on CD for a very long time, and just haven't been able to come across it. There was a twofer with this and their second album years ago, and I didn't pick that up at the time, but maybe one day it'll get reissued, or I'll be able to find a copy that has been reissued. But this one here was their debut studio album, and like REM, they're from the area of Athens, Georgia, and got that similar sort of jangly sound that those bands were known for at that time. So if you're a fan of REM, this is kind of right up your alley, and so forth. Another band out of the 80s, The Fix, and this album here, their 1982 album called Shattered Room, and it was their debut album. Again, very hard to come by, especially CD issues of these things. This one features some of their most well-known hits as well. Standard Fall, Red Skies, and Lost Plains are on here. So funny thing was, this just went out while I was there apparently, so I lucked out in coming across it when I had arrived. And then this one here, which I was surprised for, Greg Kihn, Love and Rock and Roll from 1986. And I am a Greg Kihn band fan. This is the 11th studio album. But what really struck me is, and I was surprised when I was reading who was in the band performing on this, it said Joe Satriani. And I thought, nah, that can't be the same Joe Satriani, the guitar shredder that we all know. But pulled out my smartphone, looked up on it, and sure enough, it is. So Joe Satriani was the guitar player for this album here. I don't know why I never knew about that before or made that connection before. Maybe I just thought he was a supporting musician, not part of the band. But he's not only part of the band, here he is on the album cover there. So that was a pretty cool find. I'm looking forward to checking that out. And if you don't know who the Greg Kihn Band is, they had two really big hits back in, one in 1981, a number 15 Billboard Hot 100 hit with the song The Breakup Song, and then Jeopardy in 1983, which went all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. So they did have some big hits that you probably know if you went back and listened to those. Don't know what the big hits were, if there were any off of this 1986 album, but either way, still looking forward to checking it out. So there you go. Got 4 vinyl records and 2 CDs. Nice 6-item score from Record Runner down in the West Village and located at 5 Jones Street in Manhattan. If you want to check it out, if you're ever in the neighborhood, do check it out. The West Village is a really great area. There's a number of other great stores. I've been down in that area. Village Revival Records is down there. Generation Records. I saw another place called Music Inn that I didn't step into that would be new for me, so we may be making another trip to hit that place up at some point down the road. All right, everyone, take care, have a great day, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. Bye-bye.